Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my arm is on the way.
Hi everybody. I hope everyone is doing wonderful and great and is able to get ready for Christmas just in time for Christmas. And I told y'all that I would get part 3 done soon, and I was going to try and do it yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I don't know, but my days are like so running together now with me working 2 jobs and trying to keep up here and stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and get part 3 done. And y'all excuse my face, I did not put on any makeup today. I was too tired. I did not feel like it, but I got my hat on, so I don't look too bad because I got my hat on to cover my face. But, all right, so where we left off at last time was where he said that on Father's Day, which he said that he went to the sheriff's office and was telling them that, hey, they needed to further investigate and, trying to get more information on what had happened or any kind of updates or anything. And the lady, just said, well, I'll take your number and then we'll just, somebody will call you or something. And they never did.
Day or the day before or something, I was just getting a little word for myself, but I went to the sheriff's office on Father's Day. The magistrate was there. I said, look, now, I'm what they call the fisherman on this Mica case.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I know Sheriff Stone has got a Facebook page. I want him to get on there and try to put a word out there about me. That I had nothing to do with this. I said, y'all can at least do that for me.
Okay, yeah, he was trying to get them to make a statement saying that, that he had just found the belongings and that he didn't have anything to do with it because at the time he was getting threatening messages and he was being harassed and different things. So, I mean, I understand that because with a case like this or, any case that becomes so popular and people get so drawn into or becomes, I guess like a high profile case is what I'm trying to say. There's people out there that do crazy things and, and not do things in the right way. So, he had a reason to be worried or in fear. I mean, heck, some of us creators now, YouTube, TikTok, wherever, we still, some of us have been threatened and still get threatened. So, I mean, it is a thing. And I showed y'all some of the messages that Mr. Johnny had gotten and, and some of the threats and things like that was made. So him going up there and saying, hey, can y'all just post on Facebook or something, do a little statement just to, let the heat die down off of him. Because, he's the only one that's been talking. And I think we even talk about that too as well. But yeah, so, I mean, don't ever show hate or harass or threaten anyone. And, I mean, there's a right way to go about things and a wrong way, and people were going about it the wrong way, and that's, you hurt the investigation and you hurt the case whenever you do things like that.
Right. Let me get your number, sir, and we'll get back. I ain't never heard nothing else back from him.
Wow.
Nothing. But you know what I said, Veronica?
What's that?
I said it probably won't matter no way if you said anything or not, because everybody thinks the Robinson County laws is corrupt anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But let me see if I left anything out.
And that's so sad. I mean, especially like that's your town and stuff. I mean, that's gotta hurt so bad. I mean, that's your place, and
there's 3 girls. There was 3 girls. We got a place over here in Loma that's bad for drugs, and there were 3 girls. that came up dead. Never found out. That's been a few years. One of them actually was my cousin that I found out. There still hasn't ever been nothing found out who did that to them. That's been a few years back. But you know what I always say, Ron?
What's that?
If they are, God, this is what I always say. God knows they're the one that's got to pay for it.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the darkness always comes to light. Here, give me just 1 second. Let me go drop my order off real quick, okay? I told you I'm a multitasker now.
I can tell. Eating all them curly fries and talking.
No, I didn't finish those. I tell y'all, I stay busy now. I stay busy. Even during this conversation, I was working, so.
Oh, Lord. Let's see, baby. Yeah, I tell you, I just like I told somebody here, where actually it was last week, and I'm not going to mention their name, but anyway. You remember when I told you about the shot that I heard?
Yeah.
If that would have been a 9mm shot that I heard after the crime, I would have never went in there. You understand what I'm telling you?
Right. So it sounded louder? I mean, was it louder or not as loud? Or I'm not...
No, what I'm saying is, a 9mm, that kid at Natasha that I was asking you about a while ago.
Yeah.
She told me she had a 9mm. And what she done was she done a test on that 9mm. Cause, after she heard what I said about it, it wasn't a real loud shot.
Right.
What she done was she told me that she had somebody at her house and they kept the 9mm. Her grandmother stayed about a mile away.
Oh.
So she went to her grandmother's and she called the person that had her 9.
Now, to the people that were saying, like, well, I mean, I understand these comments and I get it because I had these same questions and, these same, I felt the same way. So, I mean, I totally get it. But to us that had the questions, well, if you just don't go running in somewhere or, or going to go, check on somebody or something when you can't see what's going on, or, you don't, because you don't know what could be happening, what's going on or anything like that. And then why would he run in there after hearing a shot? So, and he always described the shot as being like a firecracker or like a pop. So it wasn't really loud. So I'm wondering, and then this is what he's talking about now, and he's also breaking it down too about, hey, if it was like a loud shot, like, I guess more if it was real or sounded like a real shot that was close range, that he wouldn't have went in there. But since it wasn't like a loud shot and it was just like a small firecracker or a pop or something, then, I assume like he didn't really think too much of it at that moment because everything just happened so fast, and he was just like, well, maybe I should go in there and check or something. I don't know. But he did and found her belongings. And he's talking about how the Natasha girl on TikTok, that they had a weapon, and it was the same kind that Mica had, and was saying, they were trying different distances on shooting, and like it was loud. It did not sound the same as what he heard at the park that day. So it was not the same loudness, the same sound or anything. So what I'm thinking is, and we talk about this too, is that someone played a recording of crying and then played a recording of the shot or shots. And that's why the shots were not that loud, and didn't sound threatening, I guess you could say. So that's what I'm thinking, because, I mean, and I've always kind of thought that, because it's, like, well, if she was kidnapped after the gas station and then placed there, then the only way that crying or any kind of shot or anything like that would be by recording, pre-recorded crying and sounds and things like that, and then played. And, or, I was also thinking too, like the crying, being recorded and then played, and then they actually shot off a shot to make it seem legit, but I think they just played a recording of a shot, and that's why it was not as loud.
Millimeter to shoot it. Remind you, she's a mile away.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Okay.
They shot the gun. She said she heard it. So, if that would have been a 9mm that day,
right,
I was that close to her, everybody would have been running out of there. You hear me?
Right. Okay. So that makes so much sense there, because it's like, why would it? How could it just be like such a small pop? And I'm not gonna say like I've shot guns, I have guns, but I'm not like no professional with them or anything, but
I'm not much on guns neither, but I know the sound.
Right. So I totally understand now why you say that,
To be honest, PJ, after everything's said and done, I wish I would have heard a 9mm shot, because I would have never went in there.
Right.
And I really don't think somebody would have done that with a 9mm that close to so many people.
Right.
Everybody in that park would have heard that.
Yeah, especially if it's, something that's like if Natasha did it. So apparently not everybody in the park heard it. That's how not loud it was. So, and, it wasn't, the shot wasn't really loud. It sounded like maybe, one of them small fireworks or something, like maybe those, little things with the string, I forget what you call them, or like a firecracker or something. And, so, if the sound wasn't that loud, it could have been anything. It could have been something falling over or something getting knocked or, something. So, and if not everybody heard it, because if it was an actual shot, the sound would have traveled and more people would have heard it. So that's odd that not everybody heard it either. Didn't heard it a mile away. And then plus the echoes and stuff, that would increase the sound.
Okay, then Natasha mentioned to me, said, well, Johnny, maybe somebody mentioned something about the gun was probably so close to her head that it muffled it out. I said,
Also, too, there would have been a lot more, I would assume now, I'm not stating this as fact, but I would assume that there would be a lot more evidence that's red surrounding the area, and there was no evidence of any red anywhere in that area, not in the water, not on the ground, not on the trees or anything, like nothing to be noticed. And that's another thing that we have not heard anyone say, is that there was red evidence in that area where she supposedly did that. There would be some kind of red evidence there.
I went on there and seen a test where they done it with a watermelon. Or, you remember how they used to do in old movies?
Right.
Yeah. Nope. There wasn't that much difference. There wasn't that much difference. There was muffling out the sound.
So they even did tests and stuff to see, different ways that for it to not sound, or try to replicate the sound that it made that day at the park. And everything they did, it did not come back, or didn't sound like the same sound that was at the park. The sound at the park was not loud. But whenever they actually shot the 9mm and even did different things like muffled it against a watermelon shot, and the sound was still loud enough to where, I mean, probably everybody and their mama would have heard it. And so even the sounds are not the same that was at the park and what would be in a real life scenario of a shot. The two sounds were not the same and not comparable.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It you just made it make more sense.
Yeah. But no, honey, I have no idea who no Mica Miller was, no Jake. I had no kind of idea.
You just literally happened to be there at that time.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I really didn't.
Right.
Lord knows why I was put there in that situation. I'm waiting to find out what it is. I think there's going to be something to come out of it. I don't know.
Well, I think one reason was so somebody that was good would find her, and that way she wasn't just there, you know. So I mean that kind of makes you a hero, you know, because like, I know people get mad at me, and I understand, but understand where I'm coming from on this too, because I mean I've, you know, had my own questions and speculations and things like that on the Fisherman as well. I mean, it's no secret I've done videos and asked the same questions. But with the scenario 2 that we talked about in the last video, you know, with that scenario, my same thought was, you know, that if he didn't go in there and get her find her belongings, if he didn't just so happen to find her belongings that day, more than likely, Mica would not have been found. So, could it have been God's intervention to say, no, you're not going to do this to this family. You know, you're not going to take this young woman's life and then have the family not have the body to be able to mourn and do what needs to be done to respect the body and, you know, like a memorial and things like that. So, if the fisherman never found her things, y'all, I truly believe like she would have never been found. Because you got to think, she was in the water. There was debris on her. There was a log on her. CJ, when he went out there not long after investigating, he found there were bags of concrete not far from where she was. Fresh bags. Why would there be fresh bags of concrete in the woods where Mica was at? Why? They were going to probably put that on her. And then concrete and water, it becomes a solid. And it's a lot of weight. So, I truly believe that if the fisherman did not find her belongings, that Mica would have never been found, y'all. Or if she was found, her body would have been, because it's in water, so decomposed at that time that, you know, there would have been no way to argue that, you know, that she did or didn't do it to herself, I guess. It gets rid of more evidence, if not all, if you get what I'm saying. So, with scenario 2, you know, maybe God did place the fisherman there so that way Mica could be found and her family could have closure. That's it. So her family could have closure and not just think that, you know, because they could have been, JP could have said something like, oh, she ran off to Africa, or she, you know, that could be another, you know, setup thing that they had was that, you know, hey, Mica ran off to Africa, or, you know, Mica ran off to this place, or she ran off with this guy, and, you know, she's just out of her mind crazy, and she's having an episode, and, you know, she's gone, and she's just missing. you know? So I'm pretty sure there was multiple plans in place. So that could have been one of the plans. But since she was found, you know, that the she did it to herself narrative went, you know, because there's no denying then that that was done, you know, even though we know it wasn't, that she didn't do it. We know that, but you know what I mean. So, I mean, you gotta look at these things with an open mind, and I mean, I understand, I get it, like, we want the truth and we want the justice and we want it now, but we still have to go in this with an open mind, y'all, because when we start putting our focus all in one basket, we miss so many things, and we get distracted on things that, you know, we shouldn't be so focused on, you know, when we actually should be looking over there. We know, like, the media does this, you know, like, they'll, you know, run these stories and stuff to distract you and not tell you the whole story, but to, you know, distract you so that way you're not seeing what they're, you know, what's going on actually over here, you know. So we gotta come at this with an open mind, and then also with the justice system too. It's, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty. So if we go and, you know, we just say, oh, he had something to do with it, he had something to do with it, you know, instead of looking at all the options and all of the evidence to put it together, you know, we may never get the whole truth. So,
But you know, I didn't find her. You know who found her?
who?
The kayaker's the one that found her. You didn't know that?
I've heard that I've heard it both ways, that I guess the kayaker went in there right after you did, like he followed in behind you, and then because I guess she had like debris and stuff on her.
I don't understand how that happened, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You remember when I told you that Charles knew him?
Yeah.
He said he had his phone number and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when I got into the house, I called Charles. He gave me his phone number. I got on the phone with the kayaker. He told, this is exactly what he told me. He said, Johnny, he said, I went back in there after you did. He said, I started hearing laws or some law swords or something like that. Now, he heard the shot, too. He said, he told me, he said, Johnny, he said, you went right by her. I said, do what? What did you? That pig got me. He said, you rode right by her. I said, do what? He said, but there's no way you could have seen her. I said, yeah, this is how he explained. He said, you know how a plastic bag would be in the water? I said, yeah. He said, you know, it'd get a little air bubble in it, and a piece of the plastic bag would come up.
Right.
I said, yeah. He said, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He said, well, that's what I seen. I believe her shirt was black that she had on. I'm not sure. I mean, that's what he told me.
And see, that's a lot of the context that's been missing too. And that was.
That's what I'm saying. How come everybody getting on the kayaker? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people were like, you know, well, they obviously knew each other, and you know, he just came up behind them and was like, "Hey, Johnny," you know, like it happened there.
But he said he's seen that, but he said he still wasn't sure what it was.
Right.
He said there was a tree, her body, and then a floating log. So he said he moved up close to it. He said his kayak bumped the log. The log bumped the bottom, and her foot come up out of the water.
Right.
And that's how he realized. That's when he realized it was a body, and it was her.
Wow.
I said, man, I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no, I'm not. But like I told you, when I come out of there, I wasn't looking in the water. But like he said, it was just a mercy that I seen it. He said, there's no way you seen it unless you was looking hard, Johnny. I said, well, I wasn't looking at all. He said, well, it was a mercy that I seen it. The top of the shirt, just the top of the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, that I've seen that water, like, and so I can imagine, like, in real. So, see, she was so covered up that even the kayaker told Johnny that there's no way you could have seen her. Now, how is that? How is she so covered up, and she did this to herself, how is she so covered up that no one could see her? Seems like Robeson County and a bunch of other places too have zombies. I don't know any other way to explain it, because once you're past, you're past. There's no coming back to put stuff on top of you to hide yourself. And besides, if she wanted to be found quickly, so that way her family could find her, then why would she do that in such a hidden place and cover herself up with debris and be in the water? That's don't make no sense. Mica didn't do this. And I will continue to say this. Mica did not do this. I mean, it's physically impossible that she did this. And I think I'm going to leave it here for now. Because like I said, we go more in depth and there's more details that, a lot of us missed during, the first time listening to this. So that's why I wanted to go back and do it this way too, because I mean, there's stuff I even missed too, when we were talking, because I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm constantly on the go no matter what. So and once you sit down and you get to thinking about things, you start remembering, like, hey, you know what, so. But I want to thank y'all, tell y'all that I love y'all so much. Y'all please hit that thumbs up, subscribe please, and comment and let me know what y'all are thinking so far. Is any of it making any more sense to y'all? The explanations that are being given is, I mean, how are y'all feeling? Are y'all thinking more scenario 1 or scenario 2? Or, I mean, tell me what y'all think, because I mean, I look forward to y'all's comments. And let's see, I work tomorrow night, and this is at my main job, so this is the one that I don't have as much freedom with. So, but I work tomorrow night. Actually, I work tomorrow night and then the weekend, and I'm not even sure what I work next week yet. But I love y'all. Y'all please show me some love and hit the like button, comment, let me know your thoughts. I always look forward to reading y'all's comments, and please subscribe. I hate to even ask, but now at this point I feel like I'm begging. Just please subscribe. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. And y'all have a great night, my unicorn warriors. Bye.